All right, welcome back to the Wildly Painful Podcast. I'm Jay.
And I'm Nicole. And yes, I brought a topic this time that I hope you will find interesting. But our big news on the podcast is that Jay invested in this whole new audio equipment, and this is our first time trying it out. And we were just playing with the little noisemakers and figuring out how to talk into the mics.
Right.
So this is an experiment. We are pioneering a new audio.
Yes, exactly.
But that's freaking awesome. So we'll see how this goes. But already in our test, we liked that it sounded like better audio quality than when we were just talking with a phone playing. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we hope you can tell.
Hope you can tell. This is to impress you. Okay, so the topic that I might want to go to today is language. Okay, because my big question is, when does language help us, and when does language limit us? I guess that would be something that I would be interested in talking about if you wanted to. Like, for example, my first example is I can remember from social studies in probably sophomore year of high school. The teacher had us do some charades. Like, we couldn't talk, but we do some charades. And I remember distinctly that in this role play scenario, we were cavemen. Okay? Like prehistoric, cavemen, old school humans. And the first one that we had, the first sets that we had to act out were simple. Like, fire. Like, let's start a fire.
Okay, yeah.
Or let's go kill an animal and take its fur. Like, these, you could eventually, I imagine, if I made you do that right now, you'd probably find a way to convey that message if given enough time, right?
Sure.
But then he started doing stuff that was more philosophical. Like, he'd be like, I believe there is a God. And so we had no idea how to act out, I believe there is a God.
Yeah.
Like, we went up and did this big sun thing, or put a chair, but sitting down, everyone was sitting down, or they thought we were a sun instead of a towering God figure. You know what I mean? How would you even charade the word God?
Right.
And so I think his point was, that to do simple things, this was maybe part of his point, to do simple things, we might not need language very much, but if we want to have advanced or spiritual or philosophical, if we want to convey abstract concepts or whatever,
right.
We need language. But then I've come back to feeling sometimes language, I guess, maybe serves me, and sometimes I feel like it limits me. Like, for example, when you try to put into words your experience, is something sometimes lost. There's a book called How Emotions Are Made that someone was telling me about, and he said the premise is that because we've lumped together these experiences and put them under a blanket, now we think whenever we're having this experience, we're having guilt or we're having shame. But really, if we tune in, every emotional experience is different.
Right.
But we've given it a bucket, which can be helpful towards describing it or making somebody else maybe understanding it. But if we're I'm just feeling guilty, and you don't really tune in, you might miss more of the nuances. And I wonder if it kind of boxes us in sometimes. So I guess maybe language being probably one of the most amazing things that we've ever come up with as a species.
Right.
And then watching tons of other languages all over the world have striking similarities, we had kind of talked about the other time. And it being this amazing tool, but then I'm wondering if we want to talk about times when I feel like language is helpful and times when we feel like it might be boxing us in, if so, if at all.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sometimes I feel like the like limitation of language can force me into like a word vomit when I'm trying to express myself to somebody, because I haven't really like captured it, and like so I try to get every angle to make sure they know every nuance of what's going on, you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
like, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm curious how your experience has been.
No, yeah, I just talked a lot, so I was so happy that you were talking. Yeah, so you're saying that sometimes in order to capture an experience and you want to describe it properly, sometimes you're needing to use a lot of words in order to capture just like one moment of experience.
Right. Because it's like you said, it can be limiting, but it's like all I really have to convey what I'm feeling, you know, or what's happened or why I did something or whatever, you know. But it is like our experience, like you said, and every emotion that we have is different, really, if you get to the nitty gritty of it.
Yeah.
And I have like this propensity to want to explain it as perfectly as possible. And I like, as we're talking, I'm realizing how impossible that is. And, you know, like you just really can't. And then even your interpretation of the words I'm using might be slightly different. And so would you ever get what I'm saying, you know? And so in that way it feels almost like a lost cause to like use all of my energy and breath to explain something like that, you know, if it's gonna hit or not, you just don't know.
Yeah. Very well said.
You know?
So at the end of the day, you're saying even though you try sometimes because you want to express that way, language never quite gets there for you. That tool doesn't help you to describe the full nature of your experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I don't think I've ever walked away feeling like somebody really got it, especially when I'm in that place where I feel like I desperately want them to understand. I tend to then overdo it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So but yeah, it's so like, yeah, language is limiting, but it's also kind of almost like our only tool to communicate, other than I mean, if we go back to like using emotions, I mean, we're severely limiting ourselves, you know, in terms of trying to get people to understand. So it's like our only tool, really.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, yeah, body language and reading. We have different brain structures, like reading facial stuff, but it's so limited. Yeah,
right.
So like, I think you're right that language is mostly our only tool.
Right.
To communicate.
Right.
Or express.
Right, but also there's no way to know how somebody receives it, because they could fully understand the words that I'm saying, but maybe they have a different relationship to those words or a different association. And would we ever know there's been a miscommunication or misunderstanding there? Like, you know, when they're saying, yeah, I understand it, it's like, okay, like it's just one of those things. It's like all up to the perceiver more than the communicator.
Oh my God, I'm so delighted that we're talking about this, because you've expanded it in a way that I would have loved, could have ever hoped for. So you've said essentially, even if language were perfect, everyone's subjective experience and way of understanding and relating to language or certain words,
right,
or maybe associations or memories they have on top of all those words,
right,
they're you've just shown me how much freaking more chaos than I ever even thought.
Right.
Because now we're not in just language's inability to be precise most of the time,
right.
But we're in our inability to experience what other people are experiencing, or understand fully what other people are experiencing.
Right, because in communication, there's a communicator, the person using the language, and then there's the receiver. Like, what is the purpose? It's to come to an understanding, and then how do we know ever that we've fully understood? You know, like, when do we know that has been achieved? Maybe, I guess, I don't know. I feel like this is the type of thing that mostly comes down to like, you know, emotional conversations or something, you know, where, or like things where the relationship is really important or something, you know. It's like it's like having an understanding becomes so of paramount, you know, and then so you become more reliant on the communication, and that you have to be reliant on how it's received too. So
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah. So even someone saying, I understand.
Right. It's like, but do you?
What it would only be an approximation based on their own.
Right.
It could only ever, like, maybe someone understands you intellectually but not emotionally, or vice versa.
And that's the thing, is like there's also different levels of understanding. So when someone says, I understand, what do they mean?
Yeah.
Do they mean, oh, okay, I intellectually understand what you've said, or I understand to the point where I can care about you.
Yeah.
About what you're going through.
Yeah.
You know, like there's...
Or even if I care and understand what you're going through, and I do care, what do you need from me? Like, knowing what to do, how to help.
Right.
Because let's say someone else is, let's say, okay, I understand what you're going through and I care about it, but then where do we go from there? I guess you need communication about that. Those levels.
More words.
The more words.
More words, more understanding, more perception, and receiving and giving. You know what I mean? Yeah. You've got to then come to a new understanding, or an understanding of how to be after having shared that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Complex.
It is complex, and we like generally just take it for granted. Like I think we assume like the words have been said, and therefore I've done my job type thing.
Yeah.
And then I could even be like, okay, well, I've intellectually understood what that person is saying, and now I've done my job. And then it's like, but I don't. There's always more work to be done. I think. I don't know. Like, I mean, to actually create change or like true understanding.
Yeah.
And really, what is understanding? It's like maybe it just comes down to like empathy for their experience, and then caring enough to keep it in mind, and I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're asking a good question. There's probably like so many different
ways of...
Yeah, like I understand the words that you're saying. I understand the intellectual concept that you've conveyed. I understand the problem you're expressing. I understand the emotion underneath what you're expressing. I understand what you need from me.
Right.
I understand what to do. Yeah, like,
yes.
Understanding is a more rich or complex thing than I would have ever thought also until this moment.
Right. But it's like it's the necessary, it's a necessary component of language.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it gives language its purpose.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can, like, we've done some energy work in our psychic school, and then implicitly, like, Vipassana. I think I already mentioned this in another episode, but, like, I think it might be relevant to, like, one time I got triggered because I had to start over my Vipassana learning process because I had been doing it in the wrong way. And I expressed it to another server at that Vipassana course and said, these are the things that I have to start over. And he started saying, oh, well, at this point you should be able to do this and you should be able to do that. And I got really triggered by the fact that he kept saying should when I was in this situation when I was restarting my meditation process, right? And I started to go, you shouldn't say should, and I was getting kind of worked up. Triggered and more triggered, and even a friend left the area because she didn't want to be around our like triggery energy. And then at one point I go, God, there's just something there's this perfectionistic energy inside me that really needs to get it right. And once I said that, I felt like a zap in my guts and brain and my arms, and then it was gone and I was no longer triggered. And that was the first moment when I saw words have the power to change like an energetic state or an emotional state, to be so precise with language,
right,
that since I called it out, somehow the pattern or whatever, or emotional reactive energy or whatever was there, somehow that totally released it.
Right.
It was a rare experience, but I guess maybe it's not, because I don't know if you, anyway. So that's one time when I remember language helping me.
yeah,
And then whenever I'm processing my feelings, I definitely tend to need to say them out loud. And then when I feel like I get them right, they feel like heard or something.
yeah,
And so then in that way, I feel like it keeps me from being like energetically stuck or like suppressed or whatever. So,
right,
so emotionally and energetically, like those are some experiences that I've had
yeah.
with language helping. I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you had any similar or parallel experiences, or was that kind of a random one-off thing to say?
No, I think that's I think those are very like relatable experiences. I'm not sure I can think of anything off the top of my head.
Sure.
I know that like if I'm like in a situation where I care about somebody a lot, I'm very like I over explain myself. And I saw somebody say at one point that, you know, over explaining is a form of begging. And I kind of feel like in a way it's like I'm begging to be understood, you know? And
yeah.
it's like I have this need to like use as much language from different, I could say the same thing but with using different words. And I have to say it doing different words, like to make sure that it's like at least maybe it'll land at some point, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. But I also feel like I might struggle with, and I might be getting off topic here, but
no, that's interesting.
yeah, might struggle with trusting that somebody could understand. So it's like that's I think another layer of why I do that.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, so you want to be understood, and so you will convey the same thing in different words over and over again, in certain situations.
Yeah.
Where you want to be understood. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like it'll be like like in relationships or something, it'll be like, okay, I'm trying to maybe I feel like I've messed up somewhere, but I have to explain why that seems like I did something like that. And then it's like, but then I'd have to go to another level. Like maybe there's another way that I could explain this, that it justifies maybe what I've done, even though in my mind, it's not like I've done anything bad, but I'm just trying to be understood, because if they understood me, they wouldn't be upset. That's how I feel. You know
because
what I mean?
if they knew your true intentions.
Yeah, if they knew that maybe I was just being mindless or something, you know, it wasn't like, okay, then I can acknowledge, oh, that didn't feel good for you, and you know, I'm sorry that happened, but this, like, can you try to understand instead of just being upset forever? Like, I get human relations, people get upset over things, or, you know, it's like not perfect and smooth all the time.
Right.
But,
yeah.
Yeah, I know.
No, that was awesome.
I feel like I went off track.
No, not at all. Yeah, because let me try. You want to be understood at the intention level.
Yes.
That's super important for you.
It's only important for me because I feel like that would solve it.
Yeah, sure.
You know, but there is intention versus impact, which is a whole other thing. So that people say is, you know, impact is more important than what your intentions are in a way. So, you know, it's like, it's hard to like kind of balance that.
Yeah, but I love it. No, absolutely. I'm just reflecting that it's important. I'm just reflecting that you're teaching me right now about me too.
Okay.
Because I definitely care so much that people understand that there wasn't any malice behind my action.
Right.
And when they get hurt, I almost feel super hurt by that, although I'm not trying to.
Right.
Because I'm like, do you not know me?
Yes, exactly. And yes, and that's the thing. It's like I feel unseen.
Yeah.
So if you're not seeing me, maybe I can explain me to you in so many ways that maybe it will click.
Yeah.
Yes. That I never meant that whatever is being felt. You know what I mean? Like,
yes. Yeah. No, 100%.
Yes.
Because I mean, I understand when you were talking earlier and you were like, I guess maybe impact is super important, but I think intention is your heart.
Right.
And so when that's not seen and understood,
right. And if you're gonna be upset and it feels like you're judging my heart based on that, then like that's the problem.
Yes.
And that's how it feels from my perspective.
Yes.
It's like if I'm going to be interpreted as having done this to hurt you, then you're not seeing me.
Yes.
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 And I agree. And I think, yeah, the whole intention versus impact thing. In some cases, I can be like, okay, impact. You kind of have to like be more mindful of that. But then like intention, especially, I think in personal relationships or whatever. That's if it's something that's like a reflection of your heart or who you are, then that to me is, I guess, more important in certain scenarios.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. I have to and want to and do believe that intention is so important. And you're right. There's times when we need to take responsibility for the impact or whatever.
Right.
But I just think it's so important because I can be such an oafy doof, but I feel like if I can make so many mistakes, but
right.
I feel like that what's that phrase that people used to say that I heard one time, like never ascribe malice to something when stupidity is a much more reasonable example most of the time. Or anyway, yeah, it can be really hurtful when people don't understand the heart and intention behind things, and you feel unseen. Yeah. I guess that's other people's stuff too. Other people's stuff gets in the way of that. They might never see you because they might only have conditioning. I don't know. Now I'm just off on a thing.
No, but that's absolutely true. And this comes to, the other side of language and communication is their perception and how it's received. And having, we've lived our whole lives and we have associations with certain actions with people. And, maybe an experience with somebody else meant one thing, and then to just kind of meet that same type of experience or just be orbiting around it with somebody else, we then associate, that past experience with it, and it can be, triggering, or, there's no way to kind of undo somebody's assumptions based on, what they have experienced.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh, that's so fascinating. Yeah,
it is.
That is so fascinating, and I'm really happy that you said it because I feel like it's 90% of why I might make conflicts worse sometimes is because somebody might get upset with me, and then I get upset with them because of this exact issue.
Yeah.
When if I could just hold on a little bit, that person might have just gotten triggered and might.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, but but you're helping me understand exactly why I'm getting defensive in conflict, because I'm like, no, I didn't mean any harm. I never mean harm. Never.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's hard to not take it personally because you're on the receiving end of somebody's response to misunderstanding you.
Yeah.
So it's just fascinating. It's kind of it's fascinating to like put all this into words, like
yeah,
and to like kind of go through like the nuances of these types of situations, because I don't think I've put a lot of thought into it before, of like what those responses are, where they come from, or so it's really fascinating.
Yeah, it's fascinating for me too. Yeah, unseen. When you said unseen, I'm like, I feel it.
Yeah.
That's a hard experience. That's a hard experience.
It is a hard experience. Yeah. Like, especially when, like, you're dealing with somebody that you trust, because then it's like, okay, I feel like you're treating me like a stranger in a way, and but we should have different ways of responding to each other, or like understanding each other. Like, if you're not seen, then it's hard.
Yeah. Because that's like, I don't know, among all the human needs, being seen. I mean, I guess that was our first episode.
Right.
Being seen is like a desire, I think, of maybe most humans.
Yeah.
Or all humans.
I kind of feel like, it's got to be just an inherent, or like, what's the word, innate? No, inherent. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like a trait that like comes with the human DNA type thing, or I think even people who may be described as like outcasts or like isolated individuals, I think there is a desire to be seen, even if it's a suppressed desire, or even if it's covered by hating society or something. Like, there must have been something that made them feel unseen enough to where they just said fuck it,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I agree. It's just a human nature type thing.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, really, really good stuff. Yeah, I'm enjoying it very much. I'm just sort of digesting it all and thinking where we're going from here. But I think, those emotional experiences are a perfect example of, I don't know, kind of language falling short, because the emotional processing centers of the brain.
Yes.
Once I heard, and I didn't verify this anywhere, that emotions travel 20,000 times faster than like thoughts or whatever.
No shit.
And so we just walk around these dysregulated things, depending on who we are and what our skills are and stuff. But like, what does it matter if I'm acting irrationally, or words mean nothing if I feel like you're not trustworthy.
Right.
In that moment, until I calm that down, or until that passes or whatever, a feeling is going to happen, and then you just try to convince me. It's not going to work.
It's not going to work. And then our feelings of not being seen are almost kind of moot, because it's not about them seeing us or not. It's about them reacting to their own stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe once they calm down, they do see us. But like...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just funny. Yeah, because we have the layers of the brain, and the language must be in one of the really high, like, prefrontal cortex or whatever. We have the lizard brain, and if they're triggered, no words are gonna do shit in that time.
Right.
We're not gonna be able to listen to anything.
Right, and if we do, they're gonna be twisted. Like, they're gonna be received not as they are meant, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because an emotional experience is now interpreting everything.
Right.
Now I'm in fear, so everything you say, I'm pretty sure you're up to something.
Right.
Because you're going through some emotional filter. My emotion is filtering the experience in ways that I wouldn't be able to know or articulate. I don't know about you.
Right.
I don't know about you, but I don't always know when I'm emotionally reacting. Do you? I'm still working on that part of my...
I don't even know.
Yeah.
I feel like when I'm feeling emotional, I can tell, but I also feel like sometimes it happens and I just kind of get lost in my thoughts and I don't realize I'm being emotional.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that's something I'm working on too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't even know when I'm being driven by those things still. I'm still working on that piece of machinery.
Yeah, you mean being driven by
Yeah,
emotional responses?
Yeah, like I guess I could text somebody from a triggered place and not realize that I was triggered in that time.
Oh, gotcha.
I'm still working on the cool communication with the limbic system or whatever the hell is happening. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think that when I'm feeling triggered by something, I tend to retract. So I think that I am apt not to communicate outwardly, but that's not from awareness or any type of emotional intelligence. That's just kind of how I'm wired because, well, I don't know why, but I guess I just kind of tend to internalize my emotions before showing them or responding, I think.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know, but it's like, with all that said, I'm a fairly introverted person. I mean, I don't interact with people a lot, so it's not like I'm having like this abundance of experiences to really pick from of what's, how I react when I'm triggered with other people, but generally I would say that's kind of how I am.
No, yeah, so you feel more comfortable when you get emotional to work on it yourself and be in your own space for at least a while until you get a handle of it.
Well, it's not so much that I feel like I'm doing that to work on it. I think what I do is I suppress a lot. I think that it's more of and I think we talked about this one of the other weeks, was how not wanting to take up space with emotions. And sometimes I think the situation would better serve me to just say how I'm feeling in the moment. I mean, but it's just, I guess, not how I function. I tend to, like I said, I just kind of go inward. I feel like it's just, but to say that I work through it is interesting. I mean, maybe sometimes I do, but sometimes I just kind of ruminate and then it gets stored somewhere and then I just, pop back out, and it's been something that's just kind of now hiding.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's funny the things that they'll teach us in school, but they never taught us any of this. We're learning it all on the fly.
Yeah, I know.
How to deal with conflict, how to deal with uncomfortable emotions, how to communicate, how to express oneself, and I get you about the not taking up space. Other people, when they come to me emotional and I can help them, I feel like super person, right?
Right.
But am I going to give somebody else that opportunity?
Yeah.
Hell no.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. That's it. But it would, behoove us to really sit with that for a little while and try to understand that opening up, or I don't want to say offloading on somebody, but allowing ourselves to be emotional, that can actually also be helpful for another person. Who is there as maybe a friend or a sounding board or just somebody to help. I think that generally speaking, humans do like to be helpful. In that regard.
Yeah, it's true.
So.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Where does it want to go?
It's interesting stuff. Yeah. Yep.
I'm getting comfortable with this silence and not knowing.
Yeah, and
we'll just practice.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I think that, I mean, at the end of the day, if we have a truly painful amount of silence, it doesn't it we there's still editing, like we could there's nothing is ever can be too uncomfortable. We can always fix it.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can always fix
We
it.
can.
Yeah, so, oh, I know what, well, or did you have something? You looked like you almost had a thing.
No, go for it.
Okay. Okay, so now we're talking about language.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we had been, and we are talking about all sorts of tangents, which is also great, but like, originally we were talking about language, and I remembered something popped into my head a few minutes ago. What makes a good book a good book? Because then what's the goal? You kind of blew my mind when you said I believe, irrefutable sort of truth that, like, no matter how many words I said, how could I ever convey the complexity of my own experience in any given moment and have someone, experience the same thing or understand it on a molecular level or whatever.
Right.
There's probably limits on the part of language and on the part of everyone being different.
Right.
But then what is the common enough that what is the goal? Are books trying to make us feel a certain way or heal a certain way? Or I guess maybe does it depend on a book? And what makes a good book, and what are books trying for? If they can't do what I believe you said is true, if they can't map one experience entirely into another,
right?
What can they do?
Well, see, that's the thing, is like with language, it's like you just have to get close enough for there to be at least some level, maybe not perfect understanding, but just understanding. And for books, I mean, I love this question because, I mean, obviously it's subjective. Like, some people really enjoy like nonfiction and learning about sciencey shit or whatever. But like a good story, and I will speak for myself, it has good character development. And even if it's a character that I have nothing in common with, if there's a backstory that kind of highlights how they got to being how they are, then I'm kind of drawn in. Like, you know what I mean? Like the depth of human experience but
that's awesome. I love your answer. Can we keep digging into Jay Bartlett?
We can, but
Well,
were you going in another direction with that question, or what was?
No, that was great. Now I want more details because you answered the perfect way.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, so you're saying that when you know a character's backstory, you're drawn in. So you like backstory. And then what for you, I mean, I might have a grasp or a baby grasp, but like what for you? Yeah, like when are they doing it? What is character development? What does it feel like to you? Or what do you like reading about? Like what is it?
You know, I don't, well, it's like, I mean, that's such a good question, but like if the book takes the time to delve into the psychology of a person, then to me that's like character development. And
okay.
There's a way of, so I'm trying to think of like an example. Yeah, it's hard to explain. It's difficult to explain, but like the books that I like, they are longer books because they spend the time on the people involved, and so it's less plot driven and more character driven. You know, it's like there may not be like this huge character arc, you know, but it's like it's going into. I guess I just like to read about the minds of other people and how the author has chosen to express that, you know. So but again, it's like it's up to it's my interpretation at the end of the day, whether it's good or not, or likable or not, or if it may mean a character may mean something to me, and I may get a whole different read on them than you would, for example.
Right.
So, and I guess that's, again, just dependent on how we are interpreting the words that we're taking in.
Nice.
So.
That's awesome. So, yeah, so you're saying you like reading about the minds of other people, and when you are able to see into another mind, however the author has done that, you're really engaged because you're like getting to see the world through their lens, or understand how they might respond in certain ways.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So somehow then the author has done a good job when they've given backstory that's relevant to the situation that they're in, and you get to watch and understand why they make those choices and feel that with them.
Yes.
Is that
yes, that's valid. And yes, exactly. Yeah, that's like what I mean.
Oh, nice.
But there's a book called East of Eden.
Okay.
Written by John Steinbeck.
Okay.
And it's a very popular book, and I think it's because it's brilliantly written, but the characters, you get to see how these two boys kind of grew up. They're brothers, and they're very different from each other. One of them was very abusive to the other, but they were wanting to he was jealous because one of them had the love of their father, and it was all of this nuance, but it's such a slow build-up of their life experience and how they grew up, and it's such a true sibling experience, and it's I don't really relate to either of those characters really, but I'm interested in them, and the psychology of having those types of family dynamics and how that could affect both of them.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. And by the end of or halfway through, the one brother who was really abusive ended up really needing the other brother, and it was you just see it unfold in a natural way.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. But what about you? What makes a good book for you? What kind of book do you get lost in?
Yeah. I'm just really enjoying I'm just really enjoying getting lost in you and what you enjoyed in a book, and that was awesome. Yeah. I just keep thinking about the Midnight Library. You said that I'm so touched by that. You said that you couldn't stop thinking about me when you read it, and then you recommended it to me, and I could not put it down. I was completely captured by it, and I've merged with it, and I will never not think about that book constantly.
Yes.
And it did so much for me in the way of healing. It spelled out. It taught me. I think right now, there's a lot of different books and a lot of different book experiences. But right now, what's calling to me is the books that heal me. And I almost want to explore with you, what that even means. Because Midnight Library, I used to, thank goodness, Midnight Library has really kept me from indulging in, is your thing off? Is the library?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Well, we could also see and.
A few moments later.
All right. Sorry about that. We had some audio issues, but I think we figured it out, so we should be good to go.
Rockin' and rollin'.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, I was thinking, I was enjoying hearing what you found interesting about reading books, and I was saying that I'm loving healing.
Right.
So the interesting thing about Midnight Library, as you probably remember, if you have any guilt or regret about anything in your life, basically it gets spelled out as complete and utter nonsense in the end. You end up choosing with the character to live your own exact life exactly like it is. Because what happens is that character gets an opportunity to go to any reality based on any choice that they've ever regretted.
Right.
Oh, I regret that I left that guy. That guy was really good for me.
Right.
Oh, it turns out in this reality he's cheated on me twice, and
right.
Oh, something bad happened to my cat because I was an irresponsible owner.
Right.
Oh, that cat died of a heart condition that had nothing to do with me. Oh, like my dad really wanted me to swim and I didn't follow through on any of that. Oh, my dad's an asshole. Like I learn in this timeline what a
Right.
selfish asshole my dad is. And so you start with the character learning that these other realities that you sometimes get stuck in thinking that you needed to be in because you made some bad choice, you end up learning with the character that those realities are not all greener on the other side.
Right.
And in the end, the life that you engage with ends up being the exact one that you're in.
Right. Yes.
And I loved that, and I love that so much. She did take initiative in some areas based on what she's seen after she had this experience where she got to, visit these other realities. Because then it inspires you that like, oh, like, but I did learn also that I could have, if I just work at it, like I can do this, I can do that. Or, oh, that person and me did have a nice marriage. Like maybe I should go out for that coffee after all. Like,
right.
like, so she sprinkled some treats from the other realities that she learned, but in the end, the reality that she exactly wanted to be in, and we all did, and we all with her,
Right.
were that, and it just erases the capacity. For me, that's how brilliant this piece of literature is for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no more of that. If I remember that book, all of those things end for me immediately. And I'm so relieved by that, because what useless bullshit is recalling or dwelling or ruminating about past things.
Right.
So that book spelled out how those cycles of self-indulgent guilt and regret are wrong,
Right.
by giving you the opportunity to go, okay, well, sure, if they're wrong, then go ahead. And then you see, no, I'm not going to get anything out of this. So anyway, that book reached in to my reality and took away suffering.
Yeah.
What a masterpiece.
Right. No, that's very well said. That's
Oh.
very well said. It was a really good book. It's rare for me to find such a book, but yeah, absolutely, because it fictionalized shit that I think humans deal with, and like it took you on a ride. You know what I mean? And I think that we, as readers, could have all seen parts of ourselves in every one of her lives, and all of her desires and all of her regrets and all that shit. Like, and plus you want to go on that journey yourself. To go and look at a book and like choose a life that you wanted, that you could have done and experience that, So, yeah, that's a pretty amazing experience yeah. But the reason why it made me think of you is because, like, just the nature of our conversations, I feel like we always touch on that type of experience in a way of like feeling regret or just trying to make sense of what life is. And in a way, that book is just kind of saying it is whatever you kind of can make it, and there's no wrong way to truly go about it. That your life is your life, and it's going to ultimately be the one that you choose.
Yeah. Yeah. And what are you going to do but engage with it just like it is? You're not going to get any of those other opportunities back anyway. Yeah, absolutely.
Right, yes, exactly. And so, yeah, trying to spend time grieving the what ifs is it's pointless, and it's robbing you of your now.
Yeah. Oh my God, absolutely. The tricks the mind plays. But yeah, that's so beautiful. It was beautiful, and I'm so happy that you showed me that. So like, when I think of most influential, when we think about like that's an example. Yeah, like Nora, the main character.
Right.
She was 35. Like, what a great age to pick. I was probably 35 when I read it, or whatever.
Right.
And then she she didn't have this. She only taught one piano lesson to one person. She did one thing for one elderly guy in her area. She was single. She was in a crappy apartment she didn't like.
Right.
She had left a job, like she had cared for her mom but gotten lost from other things. She had aspirations about being in a band and then never did that. And like, it's such a believable life.
Yeah.
Because there's all these half-baked and half-done things like mine, like maybe everybody's.
Right.
And then you find out in another reality, like, oh, the piano lessons are actually keeping that kid from being, like, violent and on the streets, and, like, because they're giving them something to engage with. And that old man, because you go every week and get the pills from the pharmacy, he's not in a care home. He's able to have his independence, and like, so these little sprinkles of kindness that you think are doing nothing, like, are doing so much. But when you talked about getting into somebody else's mind, I feel like also maybe the opposite was true with Nora, is somehow we're the author got into us.
It's like that. Yes, that's like, it's like a book about us. That's exactly right.
Oh, what an amazing. So somehow this person has created a character, but he's really talking directly to the author, but he's masked it in a character. He's saying, like, he's pretending like it's a character in the book, but somehow he's made this open place for you to be there.
Right. Like, it seems clear he's taking kind of like the human condition and he's fictionalizing it in such a way that's like kind of fantasy land scenarios, but in a way it's also like it grabs you by the balls in a way, because it's like, oh, this is like almost reality in a way, it's reality in this fantasy land, I don't know, it is brilliantly written. It was. I can't believe that. I need to read that again.
Me too. I'm jonesing now that we're talking about it.
I know. I'm like, fuck, because I remember I read that so quickly too. It was like I could hardly put it down. And yeah, so yeah, I like character development, but I also like when I see myself in the story, like when you feel kind of immersed in it, like, okay, this is me. This is me in almost in a way that's not so obvious, but very obvious, like I can't really relate to this character, but yet still this is the life experience, and yeah, that's what's so captivating about it, I think.
Yeah. Nice. So somehow, these are great. This is exactly it, right? We're trying to figure out, like, if we can't fully make a person feel exactly what we're feeling, what are books doing? They're approximate. They're able to understand some human struggle. Well, I don't know if it applies to all books, but to understand some deep human suffering and hold your hand and walk you through it.
Yeah, it's like they can put a metaphor to it to make you experience it in another light, but it's like it's really about the feeling than the language, or like than the specific words, right? Because
you're doing it.
Yes, like yes. So it's like, yeah, exactly, like you
are doing the exact thing that we needed. This is the pinnacle highlight of the podcast.
Yes.
Because something was there and then you just connected the dots. Language is a pointer to some sort of emotion.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So it didn't matter about the story or the person or the library.
Right. But also what I'm realizing is maybe the metaphor is in some ways more powerful and more powerful than trying to construct perfect language, because it opens it up for your interpretation, and in a way there's no requirement for you to experience it a certain way. It's like it's a wider thing. It's like here's this scenario and you can do with it however you are interpreting it. Like, I'm not going to put this strict requirement on you to get these words exactly right. This is something to hint towards it, and you can take it as you see fit, however you are interpreting that metaphor. Like, you know what I mean? It's like a more open meadow as opposed to a tunnel, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know how.
love
Okay.
this.
Okay.
I'm enamored.
I'm glad you're understanding this because I feel like I maybe made it a little bit more
We should stay
cloudy.
there. We should stay there and keep picking at it, can we?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you are blowing my mind because this metaphor is somehow also yes, I'm okay. If I let's say I'm a therapist, how are you feeling today? How blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I'm like drilling into your shit.
Right.
In
Right.
ways that might feel invasive, in ways that might not be received well, in ways that you might not want to look at.
Right.
I'm going to tell you a story about a girl named Nora Seed, and here's what she's experiencing. They've mapped an emotion into a story, into
Right.
a universal thing, and then I don't know, worked you through it. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not quite getting there
No,
either. But
yeah.
the metaphor feels safer. It feels more expressive than, or even if I was just like, Jay, I see that you struggle with this regret and I really don't want you to because here's all the reasons why you shouldn't. And would it be as powerful? Or now when you think about regret, you can look back on a whole tapestry universe of somebody's story. It's almost like, I don't know. It's almost like because we've given it an entire world, it's richer somehow
Yeah.
and more versatile and more movable and more.
Well, it feels a little bit more effective because I'm trusting you to connect the dots based on your experience. And so you're no longer feeling like I'm telling you what to do or think or feel. You've read something that metaphorically is a metaphor, and it's just pointing your shoulders in the right direction. You're able to go there yourself in a
Yeah.
way. You know what I mean? Like it feels more of a freedom of expression, a free way of like I'm letting you be free in the metaphor and interpret it however you see fit. Does that make sense? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in love with the idea that dealing with emotions directly might not even be the best way or a great way to help someone, and telling a story that parallels an emotional experience is just so much safer, more versatile. Yeah, I'm just sort
you're
of
right.
enamored
I
with
see.
this.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's kind of like saying here's something else that exists outside of you that also experiences, it elicits the same feelings, but it's not. I'm not making you re-experience anything. It's just telling you it also exists elsewhere.
Yes.
In a metaphor.
Yes. Because that's what you're making me realize I'm looking for in books, at least some of the time,
Yeah.
to be seen.
Yes.
And how
Right.
seen are you in those situations? Somehow that's a very sophisticated, nuanced way of saying, I fucking see you.
Yes. Yes. And it's like, yeah, exactly. Because it is. It's like saying, yes, this does exist. It's like showing relatability. Like, yeah, I don't know. I think you said it perfectly. It's like being seen by something that's being described not as you, but something else. And so it's like it feels almost like more meaningful that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to like kind of convey exactly like the epitome that I seem to be having here.
Yeah.
Like it's like,
I know. I feel the same way.
yeah.
We're both seeing the power of metaphors and storytelling in. I mean, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
In healing.
Yes, in healing and feeling seen
Yeah.
and validated. That was the word I was looking for. Feeling
Validated.
yes.
Nice.
Because it's like I don't. Yeah, just knowing that there's something else that exists out there that can parallel my own experience, but it's just an example that doesn't have anything to do with me. It's like, okay, that feels validating. In other words, it feel seen by that,
Yeah.
by an author who's never met me,
Yeah. Yeah. This is blowing my mind.
Yeah.
But I'm also having we can develop it like also more later in future things.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. I feel like we're both having an epiphany and it's good.
Yes.
It feels like a peak moment because I'm like, man, like what a good idea, and I'm like, I want to call them like modern day shamans or whatever because they're like brilliant, like better than a therapist.
Right.
No therapist can do it that way. It's a different way of doing therapy or meditation.
Right.
And who wants to listen to a guru or a preacher about any,
Right.
But these are somehow they've gotten around it.
Right. Yeah.
But help people anyway.
Yeah.
And it's making me think about something like Kyle Cease. He's like a healer, a spiritual guy that I kind of have followed, less so in recent years, but like a lot before.
Okay, I think I remember you talking about him years ago.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
He was talking about how he used to be really bored playing with his daughter in some scenarios because they'd be playing with stuffed animals and they're just acting out different scenarios. And he's like, this is really boring. Until one day he picked her up and she talked about her horse. And she's like, yeah, when people talk too close to the horse's face, the horse kind of gets scared and they're like, ugh. And then it dawned on him that children are using stuffed animals and characters and actors instinctively to communicate their feelings that they don't know how to express or don't feel safe expressing.
Right.
So I'm so happy that I heard that from him because now that I've been playing with my boyfriend's daughter, I see her doing that all the time. Not only to express how she's feeling, but also to test how I'm going to act.
Yeah.
She'll put me with an unruly character, and then I'll start by discussing it, but she'll keep amping up the stakes of this character is still being unruly because she wants to watch a moment when I maybe don't have patience or when I maybe... She wants to see what I'll do when I get stressed out or something. And I actually, before I play with her again, I want to like explore these ideas because she's asking really interesting philosophical questions, but within the confines of disguised... And we're not talking about it one-on-one. These are just fictional characters.
Right.
Like, what a safe, beautiful way to
safer.
do that.
Yes.
So I have to ask myself, like, when soft tactics don't work, what do? I've never been a parent. I don't know. And I know that just walking around the world going, compassion, only compassion. I know that there's situations where I might be needing help from other people who have different frameworks because I don't think they do work in all. Like we were talking about with game theory all the time, like in a society where everyone's a nice guy and there's one asshole, tremendous advantage for the asshole.
Right.
Because he can just trick everybody and all the people are just too nice to do anything about it. Like, I'm one of the nice guys, but I don't know how to deal with assholes.
Right.
That abuse the system and are just going to test the boundaries and stuff. And I don't think I know those skills.
Right.
So before I play with her again, I need to be asking myself these philosophical questions because like, I want to know how I would actually handle it. But anyway, this is a long way of saying children instinctively do what we are appreciating about authors doing as adults. As children instinctively communicate their emotions and test people.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
And she also uses other humans to test. Like, she's very fascinated by human dynamics. So, and she wants to know, who is this lady and how does my dad relate to her?
Right.
Because she's smart. She knows. So she keeps trying to get him to tickle me or me to tickle him. And we're like, no. And eventually she'll lose interest. But if there's ever a moment when there is physical contact between us, she doesn't drop it quickly. She's like, you should tickle her leg. If he like came over and pretended to tickle me and then tickled her. And he's like, tickle her again, Dada. Tickle her again, Dada. Because she's clearly
she's trying to...
Yeah, she wants to know. So not only is she using stuffed animals sometimes, she's going, what's the dynamic here?
Yeah.
Can I influence it this way? Can I influence it that way? What's going on?
Yeah.
So children are thinking in this relational way.
Yeah.
automatically in the way that we're kind of appreciating books doing now.
Yeah.
How did that land?
Yeah, that yeah, definitely landed because I think that the way of relating the child doing that, and also it's like authors and children are both kind of masking. I don't want to say masking as an intentional thing, but like masking their intentions under play, or like they're using play to get their information or to show information or to drive or to to learn or like direct somebody in a certain way. You know what I mean? They're using play, like when you pick up a book, you're ultimately wanting to be entertained, and so it's like they're using your imagination in order to lead you somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely
But
beautiful.
that's a really good connection that you made with the author and his daughter, and like just the way that they kind of
Yeah, and you totally got me thinking one more thing too. Like you said safer. You were the first one to say it's safer when they're using stuffed animals. Like,
right.
And at one point, she was in a mood where she was trying to exclude me, and
right.
she was testing that dynamic out.
Yeah.
And actually, he's like, you're not being kind. You're not being kind.
Yeah.
And later in our play, I was putting down a boundary, and she goes, "You are not being kind." And I said, I'm just telling you that I don't want to do something. I think I am being kind. And she goes, "Oh no, it was the stuffed animal that said that."
Oh, right.
So I don't know. I might need to be careful with how I respond to those things. But she was trying to give me pushback, and then I gave her pushback, and then maybe she felt exposed in some way.
Right.
And so I hope I'm still learning how to
navigate that.
Yeah, how to navigate, because I don't want to be like a spineless person, but I also am not trying to criticize her either if she tries out a thing and it doesn't work,
Right.
If I put down a boundary and then she says you're not being kind, and I go, well, I think I am. I'm being perfectly kind.
Yeah.
But she feels exposed or like she did something wrong in a minor way and felt the need to protect herself. But anyway, neither here nor there, but she had instinctively known, oh, I didn't make the mistake. It was just the animal. So she knows there's a safety and a separation from herself.
Right.
When involved with the animals that isn't there with real people.
Right. Yeah.
So you got me thinking about the safety element.
Yeah,
like it's a safe little sandbox for emotions to be expressed, and they're not going to be criticized or personalized in the same way.
Right. Yeah, that's amazing.
But yeah, anyway, so yeah, this is fascinating.
Yeah, that is really fascinating.
Storytelling. So she's what?
Storytelling. She's what, 5?
Yeah, she's almost 5.
Almost 5, okay.
But she's so smart.
Yeah.
And so brilliant.
Yeah.
So fun she's been interested in emotions lately. One day she was being I think it was that same day she was being really pouty. And I don't know where it came from, but I just decided to act out pouty. Like, oh, no one's playing with me, no one's doing what I want, and I was doing. She has been hooked on emotions ever since, and just like, do it again where you're mad about the rain, do it again where you're sad about this and sad about that, and yeah, I have to be careful with her because she likes having a puppet that she can just make dance. So I make her take turns, but then I took a turn, and then her dad took a turn, and then she took a turn, and so it can be good. But she's fascinated by what emotions are and how they get expressed.
Yeah.
But she won't, I don't know, maybe instinctively wants the safety and wants to act them out. She wants to figure it all out.
Yeah, she likes the blurred lines a little bit, just to be able to find, I guess, her own boundaries. I mean, she's obviously learning constantly and picking up. She's like absorbing so much. Yeah, so that is really fascinating.
Yeah. So it's It's a fun little thing.
Yeah.
Fun little thing, but yeah, now you've got me on this whole thing because like you've got me on this whole thing because storytelling is so primal. Like we have had drawings in caves for thousands of years to convey stories.
Right.
What did we probably do first? We probably needed food and shelter, and then we probably started telling stories.
Right.
Like if I mean, it just seems so. When has there been a time when there hasn't been theater?
Right.
Ancient Greece, I'm sure even further back than
Right.
that, like we've had theater to.
I mean,
don't know,
there are
discuss.
stories about everything, how the stars were made, or like everything, and like how rain happens, and like there's a lot of mythological stories about the making of the world. Like, yeah, it's fascinating. Like ancient cultures, yeah, that's one thing that they've engaged in.
Mhm. Yeah, storytelling is all the time,
It's all the time.
and then kids are engaging with it still, and then
Yeah.
we're re-engaging with it now, going, oh, that's pretty cool. Like
At the end of the day, it's to help us understand our surroundings, right?
I'm so happy you said that. That's
Isn't
such
that-
a nice epiphany.
Yeah, isn't that like when it comes down to it?
Holy shit!
And that's what his daughter's doing.
And
It's-
that's what we're freaking doing.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, understand.
I'm just sort of blown away because there's no difference between storytelling as a 5-year-old and crying over the amazing works of art as a 40-year-old.
Right.
There's no difference
Yes.
because we are somebody's saying, I understand this thing about the world, let me help you understand this thing about the
Yes.
world.
Yes.
We've just got the ideas and spaces have gotten bigger because we're adults now, but
right.
like
Right. I mean, yeah, exactly.
I'm so happy that you said that. Storytelling is how to help us understand our surroundings.
Yeah.
I can't stop thinking about that.
I know.
And metaphor.
Metaphor, which is, yeah, just a form of storytelling, I guess. Yeah, metaphor.
So rich.
Yeah, the power of language, I guess.
I want to go to some plays with this new lens
I
on
know,
or something, or read
fuck.
some books with this new lens on and go
Yeah.
like, what is it about this?
I know.
Because we've probably read crappy books before too that were well intentioned, or there's books that work for some people and not others, but then
Right.
universally there's some that just knock it out of the park.
Yeah, I agree. But like, yeah, I guess they're, I mean, we're such varied people that, not, I don't think there's one story that would have meaningful impact for everybody.
Yeah.
And that's why I think there are such varied stories,
Yeah, definitely.
There's got to be a class out there too, something about storytelling. and, like
Yeah.
the history of it or something. I don't know. But-
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I want to know more now. About
Yeah.
storytelling and
Yeah.
metaphor and stuff. Because that's the same with shows. Some of them really catch on and some of them don't.
Right.
And I wonder too, like there's probably some that would catch on in a certain time but wouldn't have caught on in other times.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
And what a complex thing a director has. Like,
I know.
hey, I have to convey the same information that an author is conveying, but now
Right.
I have to tell people how to say
Right.
it and do
It
it.
has to be a visual representation instead of a verbal or verbal one. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, and you got writers.
Yeah.
You got writers that you have to instruct. Here's the feeling I want. or what?
I know, right? Yeah.
And writers have to turn it into lines that fit the characters. And
It is rather fascinating. I'm telling, like, movie making is so fast, or like, yeah, all of that, or yeah,
yeah, storytelling through film.
yes, yeah,
Like, it seems much more complex to, like, yeah, I mean, I guess we were talking about that. You have if you're an author, you can make all the people do what you're visualizing in your own head, and hopefully it has the effect that you want it to have.
right,
And but you're not maybe coordinating moving human people around. But
right.
now in a director's shoes, you're going, like, if somebody had to create Midnight Library as a movie or something,
right, yeah,
and give it the same feeling, how would you get that same feeling? How would you ensure?
I know, right, exactly.
Like, would you use visual elements? How would the actors be?
That's the thing. It all has to kind of like line up because we're like the score, like the music and everything, the words and like even like camera angles or like shots. It's just have to all come together.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Unenviable.
Right.
Unenviable. I just have no experience with what that would. But then fascinating.
Yeah.
Then fascinating. I just would love to know what that process is like.
It's such an art form. Yeah.
Yeah. Turning a book into a movie just sounds like so much pressure.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, there's all these sets of feelings and nostalgias and fans that, like, because this book connected with them.
Yeah, and they get attached to the book. The fans do. Yeah, and then,
And then, how are you going to possibly map that into a movie and not make everyone completely unhappy because certain people are going to be like, no, that character's supposed to be exactly this way.
I know, or their interpretation, or what they think the character might even look like or sound like, And I think that's why movies are historically always a letdown when they, like there's more people that are unhappy with it once they read the book first, or if they're a lover of the book, It's because they get attached to what their own perception was. And the movie is a representation of somebody else's perception, and it's bound to just not match up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good stuff.
It's cool that we started talking about cavemen.
Yeah.
About language.
Yeah.
And then went on this journey and came to storytelling, and then presumed that cavemen were also, and knowing that cavemen were also telling stories.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yep.
language and storytelling. Wondering if, storytelling and symbol are older than language even, or, I mean, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. Storytelling. I guess you can't tell a story without language, can you? I guess language.
Well,
in
some form, I guess, yeah.
Acting stuff out theatrically.
Yeah, or paintings, I mean. I guess there must have been a lot of pointing back then.
Pointing, absolutely. In the end, we have this desire. If we're telling stories and we are inventing languages,
Yeah.
we all have this, desire to be seen, or maybe not, because maybe that's advanced, because maybe it was simple communication or meeting basic needs first.
Yeah, but it's, I guess, for understanding. It's like, that's, I think, the foundational thing is to develop a shared understanding.
That's
what I would say.
That's nice. That's a beautiful way to describe the goal of language, a shared understanding.
Yeah.
That might be a beautiful place to wrap.
Yeah, I think that sounds good. It was a great conversation.
Yeah, it's good.
All right. Well, thank you for listening.
Thank you. See you next time.